Okay, I'll call our meeting to order. First order of business is to review and approve minutes from the meeting of December 15th, 2014. And that was included in your packet. Does anybody have any questions, corrections, suggestions?
I move that they be approved.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and approved. Is there discussion? May I show my age? I don't remember there being anybody there last month to sign. We got it down to 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Oh, did I? I meant to take that out. She was not there.
Right,
Was she
okay.
there? Wait a minute.
No.
I wasn't there.
I
The
really-
court
no.
meeting? No,
No.
you're right. You're right. Yep.
Because the only,
Right, you're right.
those of
I
us
will, yep.
and the TV camera were the only,
Okay,
the
okay.
only people there.
All right, I will make that change.
Anything
A
else?
lousy crowd here today.
Yeah. Vast improvement over last time. But how many times does 0 go into 1? If there's no other corrections or questions, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, it passes.
I'd like to abstain, since I was not at the meeting.
Okay, with one abstention.
Yep.
We'll let you.
Resident and citizen participation. Do you have anything to share with us, or are you here just to keep track of us?
I do have a question on the projects that we were supposed to get done on the windows or doors. Do you have any idea when that's going to happen?
We hope they'll get done this summer, that's all I can say. We ran into a lot of problems with the product that the architect was suggesting, and then we had problems with alternatives that were being suggested, and now we're back to just replacing the sliders just as they are, replacing the windows, and looking for just a good product. So,
Has it been accomplished that you have a good product now?
well, what the architect was suggesting, that we specified this one particular window, and that's what the problem was. We weren't. There's trouble with HUD when you do that, and Jack was not sold that that was really necessary. So by the time we got it all figured out, it wasn't necessary to just have that one window. And then we were concerned also about, when we did the energy study of the building and we had the quotes done, as you recall, they quoted us a number that we thought was really too low for window replacement here. And when Jack really got the numbers, it was 3 times as much money.
Oh.
So, yeah, they really were way off. So that's why that also set the project back. So last year we hoped to just be able to do the sliders, and that's what we hope to be able to do this year. So, good question.
Okay. The other thing is on security for this building down in the lobby. Last night, and the night before, somebody's propping both doors open in the middle of the night, late night, around 10, 11 o'clock, with chairs or
Propping them?
newspapers, propping them open
Oh,
with newspapers, and one with the chair that's in the lobby or newspaper, and both doors in the front part, the one coming in and the one goes into the part where the buttons are. Both doors had papers on them to let people in. And I don't know who's doing it, but I don't know what time they did it. But I think we got to have somebody check those cameras out. But next time it's done, I'll make note of the time, and that way you can check around that time.
Did you discover that because you went down to the lobby?
Yes. Went down to like, 'cause sometimes I don't get my mail till after we play cards.
Ah, okay.
So
This was last night?
I think it last night or the night before. One of those 2 nights.
well, I left relatively early this morning, and there was newspaper, not crumpled, but like folded up newspaper lying on the floor.
Yep. Yeah,
And this might have something,
Yes,
it might have
that-
been what they used to prop the door
yes,
open.
it is.
Okay. And which doors were these, Liz?
All three of them, the two front and the side.
Okay.
All
Because
of
we
them.
have cameras on them,
Yeah, I know we do.
so we can look at them.
Yeah.
Must have been cold in here, too.
It was cold in the lobby,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
because I can feel it in the elevators when I go down the elevator. I said, somebody must have those doors open. Sure enough.
All three doors. Wow. So
Yeah,
unsafe.
that way they get a
Okay.
cross draft. Really steal the heat. Anything else, or?
I was thinking of security reason, we should have that stairwell door, unless it's a fire, to have it back on its sound system when somebody goes in and out of it. Because it's not on the sound system. It says a emergency alarm.
The fire department does not want us to.
They don't want us to.
It
It's a
was
big-
alarmed, and people used it so much, and the fire department responded to so many false calls that
Ah,
they asked us to please take the alarm off.
that's why.
There might be a compromise. We could have a bell or an alarm go off, but it doesn't go to the fire department.
Well,
That,
they're gonna want it hooked into the fire system.
No, they don't, that's what I'm saying, not hooked into the fire system.
Well, no, I mean, if you have a fire alarm,
Yeah,
then they're gonna want it in the fire alarm system
yeah.
for,
well, I wasn't
Safety.
thinking of a fire alarm, I was thinking of, the door makes noise when somebody uses it. There's a sign on it that says, don't use it.
right, but I guess my question would be, so what?
Well, if it's gonna
Is
make a
anybody
big
gonna
beep, they're
hear
probably
it?
gonna stop using it.
Well, we had the fire alarm on it, I'm not being argumentative,
Yeah.
but we had the fire alarm and that
Was that making a big?
yeah, it made a big noise. And it called the fire department. And
And it- I
people
know
just
that, yeah.
went up and down and up and down and up and down.
Yeah.
So we're working on other ways to get a handle on people that are using those doors.
Hire me. Anyway, you also mentioned before, we were going to get those special lock things on the door, so no one can use their cards, propping the doors open.
Yeah, remember the credit card
Oh,
things?
yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't been done.
Seems to me we bought them. I think the guys have just been too busy.
Yeah.
And haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay.
I remember seeing a bill, so we'll check.
Because I've been waiting and waiting, and I haven't seen any new ones put in, so probably because they are too busy. They are busy workers.
Yeah.
And the snowplow thing. We need a system somehow. The guy doesn't come at 10. The guy comes like the other day, late in the afternoon. I had my car gone in the afternoon, and he still didn't plow. So an hour after I came home, then he plows, and I'm not available. I didn't know he plowed, and he plowed around the cars. How are we going to get to notify people, the plow is here, please move your cars? How do we do that?
Well,
Before,
it's supposed to be on schedule, maybe the thing is to get this guy to make sure he follows the schedule.
I don't know what to tell you. He
Just talk
hasn't.
to him.
He came in late in the afternoon.
So I can see the problem, I mean, you've moved your car, it isn't plowed,
Yeah.
you put your car back and then the plow comes.
I'll
Mary.
delegate this to the property
Ta-da.
manager.
Mary and the asset people will,
We will talk about it.
there are always
Yeah.
problems with snow removal.
Well, I noticed that Ledgewood, they knock on the people's doors, they tell them to move their cars so they can plow all the parking spaces, but you can't do it here. I
Well,
Yeah.
every place
know. It's different.
does it differently.
Yeah.
At
That's-
Melrose, they come in and they blow a horn. At Ledgewood, they do it that way. At Hayes, they have their own system. Every place ends up having its own system. What the system is supposed to be here, I do not know.
I don't know.
But,
Maybe,
but the property manager did know what the one at Melrose was supposed to be, and I really didn't know. So,
Yeah.
so Mary will chat with Courtney
We will
about
talk
it,
about them.
see what arrangements we have.
Yeah, so I can have car gone, let her make sure that mine at least is gone, but other people don't, there's a couple that don't even bother to move theirs
Mhm.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a horn thing too.
I don't know how you hear it.
Yeah, that's the problem
Make it
here.
loud enough so you could hear it throughout the building, all the neighbors would
Yeah.
wonder what was going
I
on.
did have a thought, but it's putting in an intercom, one on each floor, to go out on the floor saying, those who have cars, please remove your cars for plowing. An intercom. No? All right, I thought a thought.
Sorry.
Okay.
Not a bad thought, but.
Not a bad thought, but
Yeah.
one, it's expensive, and two, I think I would be concerned that it would start to get used for other things.
Oh, but the office would only need,
Well, but the people aren't always in the office,
I
so.
know. Okay,
But good thought,
Good thought.
keep thinking.
Anything else, or is that it?
I think that's it.
Okay, very good, thank
It's
you.
good, Liz, I'm glad that you
Yeah.
had all these good points.
Yeah.
I want to be hired for security.
Yes.
I want to be hired for something. Doesn't have to be a lot of money, 20 hours a week or something. But I've been here long enough to know everybody almost, except the new ones that just come in. Long enough to know what's going on in this building and who to trust and who not to trust. So I feel I could be the best candidate for whatever you need in this building.
Okay. Staff reports, property managers, this was in our packet, the white one. They did put in a request, we asked that you identify what that, well, going forward, we'd like to streamline our reports to you for easy viewing of the most important information. We ask that you identify what that might consist of. Is it rent collections, vacancies, turnover, or other matters that you would like most to see from us? Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Certainly, as we look at the percentage of rent collected, it's important to know how things are going on rent collections. And I've also appreciated, and this may not be the right place, the amount of time that it has taken to prepare an apartment from the move out to the move in. That's been one of the important pieces of data for us.
I'd like to see, everything that's listed here like we did before, knowing how many, all those statistics, it's nice to.
Can you put your voice up?
Yeah, yeah, way higher.
I'd like to see what they have listed here. Collections, vacancies, turnovers, the stuff that we always got.
What we are hoping to do is to develop more of a sort of dashboard for the board, so that it's not written, it's more visual, it's more of a pie chart or a column chart, something like that, they could update pretty easily, and then you just have a dashboard report. So we'll see what we can do.
I was wondering about that aspect myself. In my mind, the two categories that I'm most interested in are vacancies and turnovers. But I gather that others will appreciate the other information as well.
I think the idea of something visual is good, that we can't get it at a glance instead of those columns.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
Yeah, I mean, look, no matter, whatever way they can do it, the easiest way they can do it, would be fine. I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly written the way that that it has been.
Right, that's what Chelsea and Courtney were talking about.
Anything that makes a template for them, they can fill in
Right.
much easier.
And speaking about rental collections, that's the next report that's in my packet. Up, okay. I'm not usually asked to speak more forcefully, so, but I will try.
Thank you.
And it looks like we're still recovering a little bit from Christmas season.
Yes, yes.
But that's an expected result.
I do have a question about Ledgewood. The column A, prior uncollected, is so much significantly more than on all of the other properties. Is this simply a continuation of difficulty collecting there, or is this the result of Christmas or some
No.
other circumstance?
It's a continuation of difficulty collecting there. I think it's people's lives. Chelsea's going after people and working out payment plans, but it's going to take a while.
In the family housing, historically, we see the rent collections start to decrease in September. And it's the sort of go back to school, and then it's the holidays are coming, and so, and then the other thing that happens is, and I heard more than one person say this to the property managers today, oh, I'll get my tax refund and I'll pay up on my rent. And they know exactly how many months they can go before we got them in court. So that's the way they do it.
Because everybody else seems to be doing pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's hope for a good tax season for people. Big refunds.
Not their early filers.
Yes.
That was a nice catch, Janet.
Well, thank you.
And the yellow sheet with the FSS monthly report.
I still have to look twice when I see BHP.
Ah, yes. So do we.
Yeah.
The big news really is that Andrea and Lucy are really quite a formidable team. And I think you can tell that from the report.
I have Lucy tell and she's great. I see her once a month. She's absolutely wonderful.
You talk about wanting a job, I bet she is working toward helping you. with
Yes,
that.
she is.
That's good. I wanted to ask how long they can go with 59 participants when they need to have 75.
They need to have 75. I don't know when the next grant will be. I suspect our grant writer will be writing it this summer. And when that grant gets submitted, they have to have 75. So they're under the gun. They really are. Really.
Clearly, they're doing a very good job.
Oh, yeah. And again, the holidays are very, that whole holiday period starting in early November is really very tough. But they, Lucy stayed right at it, so.
Which always sounds upbeat.
Yeah.
And then the blue sheet. I think this is the first time that we've had a report from Laurel.
Yeah. What?
we have a new employee, Laura Lee Morissette,
Oh,
and this is her first monthly report to commissioners.
she, when Chelsea Lindsay was the resident services coordinator, she became the property manager, and then we hired Lorelei as
I like
resident services.
Lorelei.
Good.
She's very good.
Yeah.
Looks like she hit the ground running.
She did.
I had to go to the Rotary meeting last week for another endeavor, and there was very nice things said about Lorelei during the meeting.
Oh, great.
About how good she did the lunch program and everything like that.
Was that the breakfast one?
Yeah, the lunch one.
The noon one?
Yeah, the noon one.
Great.
Yeah, I had to give a speech, kind of. I was hoping that both of you would be there.
I'm
know
sorry,
somebody.
I meant to be there and at a conference
Yeah.
call that ended at 12:30 instead of 12.
And this good pot roast.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
She does say, I'm looking forward to another successful collaboration with the Rotary Club in February.
Oh,
That might be your chance, Bill.
Yep.
No, I don't have that. Hopefully me too.
Well, it was great. It was really
Yeah.
great.
And on the pumpkin colored,
Yeah.
report from support and services at home, which we refer to as SASH. Could you explain for us exactly what a SASH panel is?
Oh, yes. The way SASH is organized, it is organized around panels of 100 participants. So a panel, and that panel financially supports a full-time resident services coordinator and a part-time wellness nurse. So that's sort of the basic block of SASH. And then that is the local team and everything comes around that panel of 100. So the aging well plan, the community plans are done around your panel number. It doesn't mean that it's all 100 people from the same place. And our panel, we have two panels, and one is SEA and Hayes, and the other is Melrose and the community to make up the 100. So that's how we get to the 100 for each of those.
I believe these are capitated payments
Yes, they
per
are.
person, so that the panel gets the aggregate amount of money, which is what supports the staff, and then they allocate that where it's needed. So it's not as if Mrs. Jones needs somebody to do something for her and they get paid specifically for that, but for the overall care of the health of that particular group of people.
Right.
For those of you that don't have a report in front of you like we do, in it, they indicate that they'll be starting a new SASH panel in April of this year, and that will be the 6th SASH panel at Brattleboro Housing Authority, doing business with Brattleboro Housing Partnerships, will be overseeing. So for a program that's not that old, I think that's a very good response.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're very, very happy that we're going to be able to roll out this panel. It's with Valley Cares, Grace Cottage. It's part of their Excellence in Aging Center that Grace Cottage is starting. It's going to fit in with both the assisted living and the independent living there, and with all of the services that Grace Cottage is coordinating with Valley Cares for the folks in the towns in that greater area. So it's really exciting. And there are only 2 panels available in the entire state. So all the 6 designated regional housing organization people like me met with Cathedral Square, and we talked about, who was going to get one or a part of one of these 2 panels, and I lobbied hard for Valley Cares and was successful. So I think it'll be great. I really think it'll be great to be part of that and to get out into the towns and areas.
Also want to highlight that mobile food distribution program, the combination between SASH and Vermont Food Bank, which is, again, it's using the advantage of having people congregate, and rather than having to go out, having the services come here.
And Janet, the other piece I thought of you is it was also in Lorelei's report, because she worked with the SASH folks so that it was at all 5 developments.
Yes.
So I kept thinking, yep, there's all those partnerships, just keep building them, and partnerships among the staff. I mean, they worked great. I mean, just seamlessly together to coordinate it all. And people really, really like that lot, food bank coming. Oh, really?
Especially this time of year when they don't have to go out.
Well,
Travel
it's just
town.
great. Oh, they really like it.
Okay, then the dull gray one.
So not a dull gray report.
No, it is not. Section 8, shelter plus care and transitions to housing.
I have a question on the transitions for housing.
Yes.
To housing. What you're describing is the master lease situation, where a third party holds the lease and is responsible for the tenancy of the unit, regardless of who the actual tenant is. This is an experiment?
This is something that's been done in other human service districts in the state. It's the first time that we've been able to do it with one of our programs down here. So that I actually had highlighted that. We're really, really pleased that we're able to do it, and we think that it will be very successful.
So we're acting as a middleman between the landlord and the tenant?
We're not. In this case, the master lease is held by Morningside Shelter.
Okay.
So they have leased
they're
with the
the-
landlord.
Mhm.
And then we do the housing piece in terms of getting, helping the client get housed and all of that. And we continue to do our housing part and pay the housing assistance payments. But Morningside actually holds the lease. So they have more leverage if there is an issue with the resident. And that's something that we've always wanted to try, is a master leasing. The other thing that we think it will do, and David alludes to that, we think we will be able to house through the master lease really the much more difficult to house people, because the lease, it's not their background that's getting checked. Morningside is already on the hook, and Morningside is
They're at risk.
yeah, so Morningside's holding the risk, and we, in effect, hold the risk to some extent with Morningside because we're the housing
assisting-
connection.
We're assisting Morningside.
Yeah, and we have the relationship with the landlord. Really, a lot of this is because David DeAngelis just has exceptional relationships with local residents. And he's the one who really presented the master lease to a few and got it going. So we hope certainly that what this means is that we can take people that really have had more challenges in their housing, house them, have the wraparound services, have the guarantee of the rent, and and hopefully be able to keep them successfully housed. So we'll see.
It sounds good, we're just
So
gonna have to see how it works.
yeah, it is an experiment, and it is, I think master leasing has been done before down here, but not for a while. I think Wyndham Windsor did it at one time, maybe.
Are we involved at all in the discussion of the criteria for how long that particular tenant would be allowed to stay?
Yes.
So that between Morningside Shelter and Brattleboro Housing Partnerships, there would be an agreement on basically tenant behavior.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's all laid out in the memorandum of understanding that the service providers sign as part of both of these programs. So it really depends on which one they're in. The family supportive housing, the grantee is Winston Prouty. Transitions, the grantee is us, but they really are very, very similar. When we wrote the second one, which was the family supported housing, with the state, we really used our transitions as the model. And the thought is that we'll start to combine these two programs into one. But the expectations in terms of behavior and being a good renter, the expectations around the case manager are all very clearly laid out. The expectation around communication with the landlord and all of that is in there as well. And it really becomes the case manager, the housing authority, and the grantee, depending on who that is, that really works to keep things going for somebody.
Would we be able to do that kind of program, say, in shelter plus care? Or?
No, not in shelter plus care.
Okay.
No, their rules won't allow it.
Okay.
We would have done it years ago.
Yeah, that's why we were.
Yeah, no. Trust me, we would have. That's why we were so excited to finally be able to do it.
That's fantastic.
Okay. My agenda says property redevelopment manager review written report. I don't believe we received.
Nope, it wasn't fun.
Move on from there to go over comments. What would you like to share with us relative to
Well, permits are completed. We had submitted an affordable housing program grant application through the Federal Home Loan Bank, and I have to say, everybody was shocked that we did not get the award. Two other projects, maybe three, but I know two other projects in Vermont were awarded, and we were not, and everybody was just very surprised. They thought our application was really competitive. So we will be finding out what happened with the scoring and why, what happened.
How does that impact us? How much
Well,
we depend on?
It was $450,000.
That's a bit of change.
Yeah, it's a little bit of money. The Vermont Housing Conservation Board had said, we'd like you to apply. We think you will be successful, but if you're not, come back and see us. So in March, Mary or Jack are going to see VHCB with Housing Vermont and say, we're really sorry, we worked really hard, we wrote a really, really good application, but we didn't get it. And by then, we will know what the reasons are. So, that was too bad. In terms of the HUD approvals, we had a very, very positive conference call with the field office last week about the transfer of the tenant protection vouchers to Vermont State Housing so they could project base the entire building at Red Clover. Very positive, really, really positive. So the director of the field office, Marilyn O'Sullivan, said many times This is just, it's the technicalities of how we're going to work this out. It's not a question of whether we are or not. So that was really good. And I think we have a lot of people to thank. I think there were a lot of people working around, behind the scenes for us. So that's very good. And we'll see what the field office wants to do. But the formal application is in and we'll be following.
So we're still rolling.
Yes, we are. In fact, we're meeting this week. We're having a owners meeting to look at the detailed construction drawings and to talk about the cost estimates and other things too. And a new schedule that we have. I didn't want to give it to you because it's draft and I think it might change after our meeting. But we're still aiming to close in March and start construction in April.
It's not even wood, but there's wood
I know.
underneath it.
The brouhaha over the brownfields, I think is, there's not too much more to say about it. The community planning for Melrose is this hydrology and something else study that we have to have in the brook. And that's in the works. So, I think that's it, right?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Now we have a few additions to our next section, which is the old, new, and other business. I believe we all received an update. What will be forthcoming? First is the Brattleboro Housing Annual Report for the Town Annual Meeting Report. Brattleboro Housing Partnerships. I believe we all received a copy of the proposal. Any questions, suggestions, recommendations?
Well, I'm going to say it looks good.
Oh, thank you. Had a lot of help, a lot of people.
This organization that we have is getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's just, we found a lot of different ways to serve the public that we weren't enjoying when I first came on this board, let's put it that way.
Well, I think it's really turned into a great model for housing as a platform from which people can really make differences if they have supports to get it.
Yep. Okay. Civil rights certification for the 2015 annual plan. Received copies of that. It'll be up to me to sign it, I guess. Should we have anything in the minutes that I was authorized to do so?
Yes.
Yes, so I would welcome a motion that we accept and I execute. Go ahead.
Also move.
I'll second.
Okay, whatever I said. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Passed. Yeah, okay. Okay, the PHA certification of compliance with PHA plans and related regulations. And again, I would welcome a motion that we accept or approve or what have you.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes also. summer session to review the 5-year annual plan, mission, values, goals, and objectives.
This is the year that we redo our annual capital plan, and we should also redo our annual, the plan that we've been working off of in our reports. There's goals and the progress statements are always in there. And I thought this was a good year to actually seriously do that work and set out a new 5-year plan, both in terms of the capital needs of the property, but also in terms of the work that you might like to see us do in these various areas or other ones. So I just am suggesting that this summer we take a day or something like that, I don't know, whatever you wish, but just really take a hard look at our mission statement, our value statement, these goals. We've had them for a long time.
Would we do this in conjunction with most of the staff, or most of the staff a part of the time?
Well, we should talk about that.
That's why I'm raising it,
Yeah.
because I think it
Yeah.
would be helpful.
Yeah, that certainly would be part of how we design. I put it on here just to see if you were interested in doing it, and then I'll pursue it. We're having a staff retreat tomorrow, and the facilitator of that is the person that I would certainly use to do this work. And we can start to sort of see what that might look like.
Okay, with no other action from us now, let's start thinking about it.
No, I just wanted to, if it was something that, I mean, I felt like it struck me that it was probably an important thing to do.
Oh, yes.
But I wanted, if you want to join me in doing it, that would be wonderful.
Yes, okay.
So I just wanted to
do
see.
it by yourself.
Yeah, I wanted to see if you wanted to do that.
Well, like I alluded to earlier, if you compare what we are and do today with what we were and did 5 years ago, it's time to take another look at our values, goals, and objectives. Not because we haven't had worthy ones, but because we're a different body than we were. So
Okay, great.
I think it's an excellent idea. And the final 2 pieces of paper are the green checklist that we get each month. And I also received a copy of the flat rents for the year 2015 as adopted by commissioners on October 6, 2014. So that's just something for our information.
Yes, we use these. They're adopted when you adopt the fair market rents.
Right.
But I just wanted, we usually put them in our annual plan. HUD has changed the whole way we do the annual plan, but I wanted to get them out in front of you one more time so that you could see what they were and know these are the flat rents that we'll be using.
Very good.
Nothing major changed as far as the rents go then? They've changed pretty
No, they went up.
a lot, or just,
Well, the fair market rent went up, which was a good thing.
yes.
So these would go up reflecting the change in the fair market rent. So these went up a bit.
Because I
But I
remember
think that's because they went down a little.
Oh, they
because
didn't go down a little, they went
They-
down
yeah.
a
A
lot.
Yeah.
the-
Really
Because
a
the
lot.
703
previous
for
year.
the 1 bedroom
Yeah.
is what it's
Didn't we
supposed to
also have something to do with the 5-bedroom? I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm just thinking of that. We had some big deal about the 5-bedroom ones were either a large increase on it, or I can't remember right now.
No, the issue that at least staff has always had is that the fair markets, well, they give us a 5-bedroom. Yeah, they went, I don't think any of them went up disproportionate to the other. Some went up a little, some went up a little bit more, but they all went up. And they're much closer to what the Section 8 people think they ought to be for the area. And so what had happened is they had taken a big HUD, just had lowered them really incredibly, and we we helped fund a study that Vermont State Housing did for certain areas of the state, and Windham County was one, where we had all felt that the new FMRs back 2 years ago were really too low. And our study came out right when the new FMRs came out, and our study, in fact, showed that the previous HUD study was all wrong. And that the new ones were much more in line with where they should have been the year before, if you can follow that. So it's been a real roller coaster. And one of our questions always is, well, do you think that'll happen again? And the answer is, who knows?
Do we have any 5-bedroom in public housing?
Yes.
Where, in Ledgewood?
In Ledgewood.
Okay.
5 bedrooms.
They're big.
Must be a lot of fun in those houses.
Okay, check signing. This month it's Bill,
No.
Janet.
Yep.
We don't have anybody yet for February.
I'll do February.
Oh, okay. Good thing I didn't pencil my own name in. I was about to.
Would you like to do March?
Yeah,
We knew you did. We could tell.
yeah.
All right, great. Is that enough, Mary?
Yeah, that's February.
Yep, okay, and we have on the agenda possibility of entering executive session to discuss personnel matters.
Yes, please.
I would therefore accept the motion that we enter executive session to discuss personnel matters.
So moved.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we will be entering executive session.
Great.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.